automotive content on Team VVV, sponsored by Bull Group. Hello viewers and welcome to my update blog on the channel. It's been quite a few weeks. I think I've only had about one update blog in about 2 months on the channel. It's been pretty quiet. Lots of gameplay recently, but not much of me bringing you up to date on everything. Something we want to get back into is a weekly sort of schedule of programming on the channel in terms of Q&As or blogs or just general racing updates as well. And that's something we'll work towards in the next couple of months. A lot of work recently been going into the website. Lots more articles on the site. We've got more writers and we've got some expansion coming as well, especially something aimed at YouTubers to get other YouTubers news and everything else covered in what we do. Much more community support. We gave away some beta codes for the second beta on the crew. That was reasonably popular at the time. We're going to be doing more giveaways and community competitions in the future. So if you're watching this, do comment on the articles on the website. Do get involved. We've worked to improve the site, improve the content and the user experience, and we'll keep working to improve that as well. And that's going really well. I'd like to thank the team for that. Lots of news at the moment. Obviously, Formula 1 2014 is out now. I hope you're all enjoying it. Codemasters have had a somewhat challenging time bringing this game to market. Obviously, the next-gen version was delayed. They still had to bring this version out. And actually, in the end, I think it's pretty underrated. I had some great races on F1 2014 so far. It's not the same game as last year. Yes, it uses elements and the engine and everything. But it's a bit of a shame, really, that there's that kind of cloud covering what is one of the better F1 games they've ever produced and that has ever been produced. And it's something that we'll show more of in the future as we look forward to the next gen version, which, as I understand, looks very special. So we'll look forward to seeing more of that soon. I'm sure they'll be back on form. And of course, it's affected Slightly Mad Studios delaying Project Cars as well. That's created, a bit more sort of controversy because people are, they were looking forward, I think, to really playing Project Cars for Christmas. And of course, that's not going to happen now. So there's that gaping hole in the market, especially for PlayStation owners, because at least you've got Forza 5, something resembling a sim on the Xbox, but on the PlayStation, I guess that's the main thing, isn't it? On the PS4, DriveClub is the only other one. Of course, DriveClub saw a huge delay itself as well. And again, it's had a tough time getting to market with all of the online issues they've been having. I hope the developers can resolve those. Is it the fault of the developers? Is it the fault of Sony and the infrastructure and logistically setting it up? Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's not done the developers any good. In fact, we weren't even given access to the game. Sony were very strict. They didn't want us to pretty much to cover it, which was a bit of a shame because we worked hard to cover DriveClub. We've got tons of articles on the website. Perhaps they just didn't have faith in the product. I've no idea. But either way, we'll continue to cover all the product we can. Lots of news this week. We've had this tabletop racing versus the toy box racing from Codemasters. It seems we're going miniature again, which is basically the old Micro Machines. We all know that. It was a great game at the time. Let's see what it's like now on the new version. It's just a bit of fun from them. I've been playing a bit of Grid Autosport as well recently. I'll chuck up a couple of Grid Autosport videos for a laugh. I actually really enjoyed Grid Autosport. It was a lot of fun. Love the Autosport circuit. Fantastic circuit. Still have good fun on it. It's not got huge depth. It doesn't need to. It's just a lot of fun. Very intense racing action. Just a quick word about F1, of course. We've heard that Marussia and Caterham may not make it to the Austin Grand Prix now, which is a great shame if we lose two teams from the back of the grid. It has to be said. It's a sorry state for Formula 1 when the money that's within it is not filtering through to all of the teams to such a point that they can't survive. I remember it must be about 12 years ago, you had Michael Schumacher at the front of the grid earning 25 million a year. You had Justin Wilson in Minardi at the back of the grid who had to do a job training people, racing. Two people on the same grid. One's earning millions, one has to have a second job training people. How is there a parity in that? And we said it at the time. Paul Stoddart left Minardi, a real shame for him. And it's just kind of gone on for those back teams, isn't it, really? It's never really worked for privateers, Williams being the last one in many respects of the old greats. If not, of course, Ferrari would have started as a privateer in their own way as well. But that's another story. Suffice to say, it's sad to see we're losing 2 Formula 1 teams from the grid. Besides that, you'll see the MXGP on the PS4 reviewed this week as well. There'll be some videos on the channel. I haven't played it myself in the final version. Disappointed to hear the frame rate has dropped on that to 30 frames per second from the initial 60 they were pushing for, and the much smoother version I played in the summer. It's such a shame, you play these early versions and then the final game doesn't always work out to as good as you would like. But obviously it's got 7 out of 10. The reviewer enjoyed it for what it was. I think that's the thing about MXGP. I really enjoyed it for what it was. That's not to say it was perfect, but I felt that there was lots to work on and develop. But I really felt that it certainly surpassed my expectations at the time and ran really well on the PC. I thought 60 frames really helped it look a bit more polished. But either way, 30 frames, that's always going to be a debate with people. And the debate has also been rolling on with DriveClub. People saying, hey, 30 frames, it looks incredible. Yeah, but at 60 frames, it would look better. You'd be surprised. I mean, when you see a 30 frames of a game sitting next to a 60 frames of the same version, it just blows the socks off it really visually once you're actually there. The fluidity and the polish it gives it makes a massive difference, but also the impact on processing as well. So it's very difficult. You can get a lot more out of the hardware if you reduce that frame rate and increase the detail. And, it's just always going to be a thing, I think, until one day we have virtually unlimited systems in terms of power, and that really lets the developers sort of use everything. But we're still a long, long way from that. And besides that, for me, I'm going to be catching up with a lot of games that have been released recently. Forza Horizon 2. Since the early preview event, I haven't played it, so I'm going to get on there. I've got my interview as well, Ralph Fulton, that never went up at the time because we didn't have the video clips to go with the interview. We've got those now, and so I can work on putting that interview out to you all. It'd be good for you all to see it. It's nice to see a nice developer interview. We've got another one for MX vs ATV as well, and we're going to have some video clips and a review and an interview on that. And in general, I'm just going to be catching up on all the games. I've been playing a bit of Assetto Corsa, been playing a bit of Project Cars. There's always lots of changes coming in. Project Cars frame rate seems to have slowed down for me on my system recently, whatever they're working on. Assetto Corsa has a great increase in detail recently, but there's still some bits and pieces I'm not happy with, and the AI seems to be all over the place. Some of the cars, they're a little bit blind at the moment, so they certainly need to work on that. But either way, Assetto Corsa, all singing, all dancing, feels very nice indeed. So an R Factor 2, that's something that we've not worked on in a long time. R Factor, I hope at some stage to get back on R Factor, but it really is just a time factor with covering all of these different racing games, and I have such limited time. But besides that though, obviously, it's been a busy couple of months for me. Obviously, I had Gamescom, went to Monza and did all of that. I've been in Monaco, and now I'm back in the UK and been catching up with all the work and a lot behind the scenes. But once all of that's in place and you'll start to see some of the things I've been working on, it will be business as usual on the channel, and there'll be lots of content as we roll into next year. I'm really hoping that 2015 will be the year that we put out more video content than ever before. So it's certainly going to be hard work for me. But as of I'm always looking for new people to want to get involved in the written content, the video content on the channel. It always takes a bit of the burden off me when I'm here or when I'm not here to work on that as well. So do let me know if you're interested, perhaps in a comment on the site, something like that. But that's it from me for now. This quick video, a little update blog for you all. There'll be a couple of grid videos coming up on the channel, and there'll be more from me very soon. Automotive content on Team VVV, sponsored by Bull Group.